How
I
old
have
are they?
three girls and a boy. They're 2 years.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's
By the way,
2023.
oh, that's cool. Yeah. By the way, we're live now. Talking about ducks. So you know, Beast Wars, ducks, keeping ducks in a row. You know. Um, well, Megamus had to step away for a minute, and we're gonna have Don should be
Too
here
much
sometime
McDonald's.
soon. Oh, McDonald's. McDonald's is the issue.
Too much McDonald's.
Uh, that gut problem, man. I think it's following all of us around sometimes.
It happens.
Um, yeah, today on Plasticast, by the way, I'm your host, Plasticon, joined here by Megamus and Cyburn.
What up?
And Don will probably pop in a little bit. He usually runs just a tad bit late, not a big deal. But we're going to be talking about knockoffs. Now, I know we had addressed this in a previous episode, but that was just um, me and Brett just shooting the crap back and forth about it. And then I believe Protoman joined us a little bit later on that one, if I'm not mistaken. I think that was a really long cast we had. But we're primarily going to talk about some of the knockoffs that are straight, this is not a knockoff, this is a knockoff, and what to look for with this, and what's even actually available, even with the modern knockoffs that they have out there. But I know Brett has a few that he had picked off of his shelf. I got a couple here myself. I'm going to let Brett go ahead and go first, and then we'll bounce this around. And I know Cyburn said you don't really collect knockoffs right now, correct?
Not really, no, but you can't be in this fandom for however long I've been in this fandom. Too long now.
Mm-hmm.
23 years, and not at least have come across or seen KOs before. So
Yeah. Okay, so Brett, let's have you define exactly what is a knockoff and what actually defines a full knockoff or a retool of some toy that had come out before.
Well, I think the first thing is defining the word knockoff. Um, and I think that there should be a category for knockoff and then for reimagination. Okay, knockoff is basically taking someone's idea and doing something else with it. Just sitting here looking, and we have like Frenzy or Rumble, however you choose. But this one is not. Okay, this is a vintage knockoff. Is what it is. It's a 4-star. This is from the Micro Change knockoff line. It was knocked off from the Micro Change before Takara, or with Takara before Hasbro even got involved. And so you were like, okay, I can kind of see that's a knockoff. That's obviously not what I would say is an original. Kind of like him. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I can get that in focus there. So we got a nice sound wave. Sound wave there.
Mm-hmm.
And pops out and does everything else. And this one is actually a knockoff from it's a newer one, but then they actually went and used the molds from the Takara one, which actually had this one actually has a little what would have been went into Blaster to make him an actual AM radio. This actually does not work, but would go in to the chest cavity, and in the back of it would have a little, what is that, a 3mm
Yeah.
headphone jack. I think it's 3 or whatever, and it would plug in, and you could actually put your headphones on and listen to it. But this is a reimagination. Okay, there's no way that you could take this and say, "Oh, this is an official transformer." Okay. Anyone that's ever bought collections, what do you get in every collection? You always get jump starters. Okay, well, not like these.
Flip flops.
These are flip flops. These are not what you put on your feet. So these are what they did is 4-Star Company decided they were going to make just different heads, colors, sculpts. They redesigned them and everything's got little wings on the side and all that of jump starters. Once again, this is not made to fool anyone into believing that it's an official product. Those are the things that, like Jason and I had talked about last time, those are the neat things, you know. I mean, just the goofy little, let's have a little, you know, little T-Rex guy here, you know, kind of sort of mimicked the Pretender Grimlock, but definitely is not. Just goofy stuff. So when we talk about a reimagination knockoff, vintage knockoffs, those are what we're talking about. That's when the licensing just went wild and you had all these different colors and they're so hard to find and they're so neat. To me, this stuff has a place in collecting Transformers.
But
When we look at,
when it comes to
Go
like,
ahead.
but when it comes to trying to figure out, okay, big question. How, like, okay, let's take Devastator for instance. Devastator is probably the most knocked off
one of the most knocked off.
Generation 1 Transformers. What did you hear was the story of how they got hold of the molds to be able to continue to make them well after they were no longer produced by Hasbro or Takara?
I mean, we can go all the way back in Taiwanese got the molds and they started making them and they made them in different colors and they made them in the Diaclone colors and blah, blah, blah. And then somewhere along the lines, they said that the molds were lost. And then the company came out, it would have been late 90s, 2000s, somewhere around there. And they reverse engineered them and they brought them out in different colors. I mean, there was an all white one and an all black one. There was a green one. I think there were both colors of the G2.
I believe so too. Yeah.
And as far as quality goes, I'm not sure. I never had them. If they were anything like the Dino cassettes, the Dino cassettes were really good. They were really good. The what are those? Not rivets. The rivets were the only way you could really tell. Other than the fact that they looked really good. But you're talking about a $600 cassette that you could get for $50. You know, and so Devastator has been just knocked off to death. And then they not to mention when they shrunk him down, big, whatever, you know. But yeah, that stuff. If you have that 1-to-1 scale green, and that's the problem that we're running into. Okay, kind of like this guy right here. All right.
Is that the fourth party?
Is this official?
That's the question.
I can tell you right now. Feels like it.
The stamping's what usually gives that away, though. Usually.
I don't know. Where's the stamping on him?
That's a good question. I don't
No
know.
idea.
But like talking about like Devastator itself, Um, I've got a KO right here. This is a knockoff, and these are actually very, very high quality KO Devastator pieces. These things are all yellow. The funny thing is this actually has the Big Lots stickering deco, but I've never seen this anywhere in a package or anything. I had a really good friend of mine send me this lot. The quality of the plastic literally feels like Hasbro. This is where I come into the problems though. Say if I was just to find this canopy alone in a bin somewhere, how can you tell if it was a KO? That's my question. When it comes to parts for KOs, somebody might actually think this is an authentic Generation 2. But if you actually put this up against an actual G2, the yellow is slightly off. Just very minuscule. This is actually closer to the Tonkinator colors. It does not have the metallic black, but it's got black. But the yellow is very spot on with the Tonkinator. But the big question is stuff like that. How can you tell whether the fists are authentic or not? Well, there were black fists for some Devastators. I believe it was Diaclone, correct?
Diaclone.
Yeah. Well, these come with a Tonkinator. There's no stamping or anything, but did the originals actually have stamping in them? I didn't think all of them had a right and left on them. I think some of them didn't have anything.
Now you're talking about the Tonkinator,
The Tonkinator has...
which is official.
Right,
It is official.
right. Mine's not, though.
What?
Mine is a KO.
Okay, I was gonna say, but the problem is that like this, okay. I'm not sure where the stampings are, but I will tell you straight up, this is a knockoff, and it is a daggone good one. It is very good, and the reason I bought this is because when the official first came out, not only was it $300 and something, but they had problems with quality and stress marks. And this company came out and they fixed it. And so this one was like $125. And it's better quality. It's stronger. It came with more parts. It came with the extra chest pieces that you couldn't get from the original. And it is actually the only knockoff of an official toy that I have. So I don't know if we want to get right into this or not. We can, but my big problem is what do I do with this? Well, I enjoy it. It sits there and it's great. What happens if I sell it? Well, I'm not going to pass it off as an official.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's a knockoff and this is what it's worth. What happens if I pass away and then someone sells that? Could it be sold as official?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
And then let's get into the scrupulous people. At what point do they get these knockoffs, take them out of the package? Because the package seems to be one of the telltale signs of a knockoff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sell them. Or, and you alluded to this, I get all this knockoff stuff. I take all the parts and pieces and I sell them individually as originals. So you've got one toy with maybe 5 parts that you've now affected maybe 5 collections
Mm-hmm.
with one toy.
Right.
Is misrepresented. That is the problem I have with these new 1-to-1 scale knockoffs.
Right.
It's
I
what
think-
could.
I think the biggest one you had talked about, this was some time back. I want to say it's been about a year ago now. They had released Metroplex and Metro Titan KOs, one to one. They look like the plastic wheel ones. The Metroplex, I think, is slightly off. It's like the color. I think it's a little gray, which is fine. The Metro Titan is not, and you can buy with those little knockoff Micromasters, and they come with ramps. Well, apparently, the Rabbit which is the blue variant of the is he called Metro Car or Metro Bomb? I can't remember.
So
the little
Rabbit
orange one.
Gator.
Yeah.
Okay, Rabbit Gator was in the VHS pack.
Right, but I'm saying it's a recolor of the orange one that came with Metro Titan. I can't remember.
Right, but it also came with oh crud! It came with another set, and the only difference was the chest was purple instead of black.
Yeah, the Skystalker set.
The chest and the emblem were different, and that's the difference between a $15 Micromaster and like $100 and something Micromaster.
Right, and whenever
the knockoff Metro Titan, the red was off considerably.
Even with the newest one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's more of a pink.
Because I never messed with the newest one, like the brand new one that was out released maybe about a year and a half ago. Mm-hmm. I have the hot pink one you're talking about, but I'm talking about
pink one. They tried to change it, and it's still.
Yeah.
But even the one that you have, except for minor flashing, there's one other piece that people don't really talk about with Metro Titan. And that is the ramp.
Mm-hmm.
There is a ramp that is exclusive to Metro Titan. And the only way to say it is if you look at a ramp, it's got the two males that connect into the female port, and on the other side it has two males that connect into another female port so you could bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Metro Titan had the female port on one side.
But you are aware this company that did this blue Rabbit car that you're talking about actually did, yeah. They did the ramps as well.
The ramp that came with even the hot pink one is 1-to-1 scale with the original. And unless you had them side by side, you wouldn't know. So that's what really got me into parts, and that there could be knockoff parts in people's collections as far back as 2000, and they don't know it. Then let's fast forward, and they made Rabbit, which is the blue version of the Micromaster we're talking about. Very expensive piece.
Yes, very expensive. We're talking about 300 or so for one loose.
Yeah, and now they're selling these for like $40. And I don't know the quality. If I had to guess, it's probably the same thing where the rivets are probably the telltale sign, but I haven't really looked at it. But that's where we're running into the problem now. You need to educate yourself. And there's that, what's that called, high-end collector website, and they do a really good job of showing all the differences and some of the molding pieces and with the box artwork and everything. But guess what they really don't talk about? Parts.
Mm-hmm. Like when going back to like how Devastator is. Devastator's got his fists. He's got his little, Mixmaster's got his little twin gun, and then you got the little drills. Well, if you look at the way the color of the plastic is, usually if it's an original, it's usually the same color green. These were just coated in chrome. But if you look at the yellow one from Generation 2, they're yellow. Well, it's hard to tell the difference on a lot of these now because they have been knocked off so many different times. So it's sometimes even the plastic quality itself, because I've handled Devastators that were lesser quality plastic that felt like a shampoo bottle. You can tell it's kind of crappy plastic, but these almost really feel just like an original piece. And to me, this is where the dangerous territory comes.
Absolutely.
Especially with how many times, like, say, take Generation 1 Sunstreaker that had never been reissued, but you can pop on eBay even today and find one. Oh, it's mint in box, $60. It's a high quality KO, but the riveting and stuff like that's usually what, like you're saying, like the riveting and the pins are usually what kind of set that off just slightly. But the parts,
Right,
that's where things get a little dicey.
Sunstreaker fists are $15 plus each.
Mhm.
Two shoulder rockets, 15 plus each.
Right.
Missiles, $2 to $3 each. It adds up. You get these knockoffs. You're going to get that price for them. Is that fair
Nope.
for someone that's wanting vintage stuff?
I don't think it's fair at all to somebody because they need to know
Oh,
what's
absolutely.
authentic or not.
No, no. And that's what we're running into. And that's the stuff that worries me. And so in the mid 2000s, Hasbro started really pushing on eBay that anything that was infringing on their copyright had to be pulled. And that lasted for a couple months.
Yeah.
And so what did they do? They got rid of the word KO. They got rid of a lot of wording, and they still pushed them out.
Mhm.
And now, eBay doesn't care. You can
Yeah.
put whatever you want on there. You could, and there, I could pull up on eBay right now. Let's see. What are we gonna call it today? Let's call it. Let's just call it knockoff.
Mhm.
All right, knockoff. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Good. Showing a lot of the stuff that we were talking about, the 4-star pieces and stuff like that. Oh, look at here. Here is a brand new Beast Wars Tigatron. Oh, I wish Michael was on for this.
He had stepped away because he's got to put his ducks in a row, apparently.
Oh, well, he would love this because here's a great variation. This is a vintage Tigatron, Beast Wars Tigatron on the card in a rock bubble.
Let me see if I can find that one so I can screen share it.
It's awesome. That's pretty rare. I don't have one of those. Do you know why?
Why's that?
They never came in a rock bubble. They were smooth bubble only.
Yeah, I just noticed that. Okay, I found the same one you're talking about. I will screen share this with people.
Yeah.
And this is the stuff we're talking about. Like, some people wouldn't even know that this was a KO unless you labeled it a knockoff.
Yep.
This
You can
is
watch
the
the screen
dangerous
here.
territory, and showing that it's not even a
Yep,
punched
there it is.
card.
Oh no, we got to have the unpunched. That makes it rare,
Mm-hmm.
even more rare.
Now the fact
then
that it's
on
a
my
knockoff,
screen- Huh?
the fact that it's a knockoff is cool for us knockoff collectors.
It is, but I can tell you the quality
Knockoff
of these.
collectors.
Well, I know the quality of these because these came out earlier, and they are garbage. They are absolute garbage. All right.
Mhm.
Type in MP-20 knockoff. See if you pop the same one I did. This is when it gets scary. Because that Beast Wars Tigatron, I mean, I could tell right away it was fake.
Yeah. Oh,
Because I knew
now
things.
let me bring this back up because Michael's back. Let's hear his opinion on this real quick. You're
Tell me
talking.
what you think of this one. Look at that. Isn't that great buy? $70? And look at that. It's even on the rock bubble.
Still made in China, right up at the top. There's not even a Kenner logo on it.
It's beside the point. Tigertron never,
Rock bubble though.
Tigertron never came in a rock
Never came out of
bubble.
Rock Bubble?
It was second release. That's fake as
Yeah, it
fake to me.
was Wave 1 on the Rock Bubble.
Only wave one was Rock Bubble, and that was Cheetor. When they recolored for Tigertron, he was smooth on it. All right, pull up that MP20. I love
Wheeljack,
this.
Right? Talking Wheeljack.
Yeah, just type in Transformers MP-20 knockoff, and it should pop up. It's like $50. Hey, it's in the U.S. too.
Okay.
Won't have to worry about those tariffs.
I don't have to pay a tariff, so I'm going to get me a authentic G1 MP Wheeljack. Here we go.
That one's different. Let's scroll to see if you can see. Does that have the box?
Yes, it does.
Okay, there you go. Look at that. That looks just like my Wheeljack that I got brand new, and I want to say they were $65, $70, something like that.
Mhm.
This is a knockoff. So
Even
Unless
comes
you
with
go
the
on
same
the
accessories,
website.
too.
it comes with everything. Sometimes they even come with more. You know, but the thing is that
Oh, it's even holographic, huh?
yeah, but you would have to. Let's just say you bought this, and you knew it was a knockoff. But let's say you wanted to flip it and sell it for $65, $70 as a vintage. What would stop you?
I mean, that's the thing. And even official, like, okay, you see a tiny little paint smudge on the front. Even official has had that issue before, too. So this is where it really does get scary.
No, it literally with this, it's probably going to come to that color of that green.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
some
gonna
like
come to
smudging and stuff.
decals on the box and the clarity and crispness in this. It's going to be minute things that, like I said, there's websites out there that break this all down. But if you were in the market for an MP20 and you saw this at a flea market and you thought it was legit, you might buy it thinking it's legit. And that's where I have the problem.
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it MP10 that had that situation happen to a lot because they kept just recoloring it in different things, like the knockoff companies kept doing that.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they did that before. Remember, what was the Classics the Classics Prime that Botcon did for Shattered Glass?
Mm-hmm.
And that thing's like $350, probably more now. Then all of a sudden, high quality knockoffs in every color you want, any color you want. Black, blue, yellow, whatever. How do you know? Something as rare as a Botcon toy.
Mm-hmm.
You see it, and you're like, I want that. How do you know it's real? Stuff's too easy to make, too easy to sell, too easy to pass off as original.
That's very true. There's been a lot of things I've seen in the past that have really kind of pushed that. Like,
Okay, here's a perfect one. All right, type this in.
okay,
Transformers, Headmaster, Weird Wolf, knockoff, replica. Hopefully you get the same one I did. Shows it in the box. $65.
not one.
Look up, buy it now.
Okay,
Find one?
clicking on buy it now. You're talking replica?
It's what in the description it says Transformers Headmaster Werewolf knockoff replica complete sealed. $65.
Not seeing that one.
Well, I'm looking at it, and I can tell it's fake. And the reason I can tell it's fake because I know what to look for. But let's say 99%, if not 100% of what I mean, by what I can see it being a knockoff is the box. $65. Well, guess what? You pop that out, the gun's worth $15. The sword's worth $30. The headmaster's worth another $40. Sell the body for another 10. What was it, $100? And you just made some money. There it is. Look at that. You just made some money.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's very difficult to tell, especially like how printing is nowadays, because in the early like the late 90s, early 2000s, you can usually tell by looking at the box itself, because sometimes the printing was a little soft. That's because they were trying to pull bitmap images and stuff like that off the internet to turn it into that. But now it's like they can scan high quality and print high quality on a high quality printer now, which wasn't even really accessible to anybody.
How much do you think a sealed G1 Weird Wolf would go for? Just sealed, a real one. 300?
Yeah, probably 3 to 350 probably.
So I buy this thing. I knock it around the room a little bit. I take my heat gun. I take one of my old backers. I, take off an old Toys R Us sticker, slap it on the corner there. I bet I could probably get $300 for it.
Probably. That's the scary thing about this whole situation. And I mean, I myself, a few times throughout my collecting, I ran across KOs, and they were like, I had a knockoff Gnaw before. He was not bad. The joints were kind of tight on it, but it felt authentic. But the only reason I knew it was a knockoff is because who I got it off of told me it was a KO. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have known the difference. This came with everything.
Many years ago, the Prime came out. 1-to-1 scale Prime looked just like Prime. Styrofoam insert, all the weapons, everything. And I bought a collection and it was in there. Mm-hmm. And live on one of the podcasts I did, I proceeded to destroy it. Utterly destroy it and toss it right in the garbage. That's what I felt about it. That stuff is toxic to the fandom.
I mean,
because
that's how
someone's going to do it. Someone's going to try and pass it off.
Like, to me, I'm always kind of people that, okay, say you wanted a placeholder, or you wanted one that wasn't as loose. Say you wanted to just get it to maybe complete your original, because your original was like beat up, missing. Say, take Weird Wolf for instance. You're missing the head to it, so you got it because you wanted to get the Headmaster because it's too expensive to buy it. Headmaster by itself or whatever it is. Okay, that's fine, but say you to go back to resell it, take those parts off, put them in a bag and mark knockoff bits or knockoff parts or something. That way somebody isn't fooled. But I mean, I know I've met a lot of people that they will get all the knockoff to try to complete whatever they have because they can't find the parts too. Now, the problem with 3D printing, and I'm not just talking the 3D printer that just prints like this, I'm talking resin printing. Resin printing has gotten so good that it's extremely hard to tell the difference between something that's injection molded and resin printed, because the plastic quality is almost identical, and it's scary. And this is the stuff that I'm just like, this is what in some ways keeps a toy alive, but in some ways it also destroys the full collection market. Now this is a question I've got, and this is for both of you guys. Do you guys remember back, I want to say it was like 2013, 2014, they reissued Triptychon? How close were those parts, except for like the purple parts to it, not the gray parts, because I know the gray parts had a slight difference. But how close were those purple parts?
I don't remember the Triptychon.
Yeah, there was a Triptychon they reissued because the parts were not silver; they were gray. But there's some people out there that they don't know this. They don't know if it was ever reissued. So if you got hold of this one, because the stamping is literally the vintage stamping, they didn't change the stamping on it. All they changed was like the colors, slightly, very slightly.
Yeah, that was the Hasbro one, the Platinum Edition.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about?
Yep.
Oh, you're talking about reissues. I thought
The
you said
reissue.
knockoff.
No.
it's
Oh,
reissue.
yeah,
Reissue.
reissue.
Like
Yeah.
that,
You're right.
That kind of also almost breaches into what we're talking about, like parts that were
But
mixed. Are these the authentic parts to G1 Triptychon, or are they the reissue? And then, like we were talking about, like the knockoffs, the high quality KLs fall in the middle of that too. So you can have parts from all three and not even realize that.
well, we were more going towards knockoff stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But in all honesty, I mean, the whole commemorative series, when they did the Takara book style,
Mm-hmm.
which didn't have the restrictions, so you didn't have the long missiles and all that.
Right.
Some of those accessories are pretty hard to tell the difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you have molding differences, sprue connectors that are different, and if you didn't know, you wouldn't.
And that's the thing, like even these KLs.
Yeah,
And
like-
those have been around since the 90s, well, early 2000s.
Hasbro, when Hasbro released the reissued the Beast Wars stuff for at Walmart, in like 2020, they released the Tigatron in the white,
Oh, yeah.
and he is almost completely identical to the Takara
Sure.
version.
Mhm.
There's like a few stripes that are different, but if you didn't know what you were looking at, even officially, you wouldn't be able to tell if you're buying the original Takara version or if you're buying the reissue.
It's funny
Hasbro.
because like the cassettes that came out in the late 2000s, and they were on Walmart, and they were 1-to-1 as far as the backer looks right and everything. And you had Ravage, and Ravage is the one I remember the most. And I remember seeing them because I got them. And the main thing I noticed was, and even on the mini bots, is the glue they used to hold the bubble was so bad.
Oh yeah,
It constantly fell off. Well, my Ravage had fallen off, and I looked at it, and the stamping on it, it had a China stamping. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, now you can tell if you have a reissue. But then I looked at the guns, the little missiles that go on the side, and they were identical. And the only way, and this is the funny part, the only way I could tell it they were reissue and not vintage is because the vintage on the inside the peg, they were really poorly spray painted with the chrome. So they didn't really hit all the nooks and crannies. It was kind of an overspray wear. Those are vintage. That's how it was done. These new ones from China, 100% covered.
so you would think that the
well,
bad ones are the newer ones,
real ones.
but the other way around.
Correct. But the difference is if you really, really look at them, like if you put them next to each other, the new ones are grainy. I don't know how else to explain it. They're grainy. They're not as smooth.
Yeah, it's like
But yeah,
the plastic seems porous. Not grainy, but porous. Almost like it's got
well, if you
microscopic.
when they put this chrome coating on it,
Mhm.
on the vintage one, it's like you put your finger over it and it's smooth. On this reissue, it feels rough.
Right.
It's just different. But if you never knew, you could pass this off as vintage.
Well, speaking of more vintage stuff, Scorponok.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I remember
Scorponok.
when that came out.
We had a KO Scorponok that came out, what was it, like early 2000s, right?
Yep. No, it was mid
Mid 2000s.
2000.
Well,
Yep.
I hate to burst your bubble, but they're at it again.
Oh yeah.
On AliExpress, you can get a knockoff Scorponok. The only difference is that there's no Decepticon emblem on the sticker that goes on the chest. The other difference is the box.
Yeah, I saw that.
That is it. It is
Yeah, but those
one-to-one.
parts are what you gotta worry about.
Yep, all those parts.
Those fast track guns are $30 each.
Mm-hmm.
Those antennas are $15 to $20 each.
Yep.
Those chrome arm, leg shields are $15 to $20 each. The headmaster is a good $45 to $50.
And one of the guys that I saw in a Facebook group said he currently purchased one because he wanted to try to finish his Scorponok because, you know, it is hard to find them. And it's hard to find the parts. You know,
It's not hard to find. It's expensive.
it is expensive. That is the biggest deal. Like, a lot of people don't have a whole lot of money to throw toward just a gun or whatever, or a piece. But if somebody has $70 for AliExpress, I get all the parts and I don't have to worry about forking out $300 to $400 to finish my toy. Like we were talking, what happens in the future when he decides to sell this thing? Will it end up in this knockoffs
That's
box,
the ticket.
or will it end up in an authentic box and be resold as fully 100% authentic? This is the stuff people need to educate themselves, like you're saying, about. Highly.
Well, and then people are going to say, well, you know, my family would never do that. They wouldn't purposely mislead someone when they sold it. Doesn't mean they know.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot. I think there's a lot of times where
They're not going to know.
I think more people. I think there's a good amount of people who do not maliciously resell those knockoffs as an official item, and like you said, they just simply don't know. Like, even, you know, someone who's just who is like a reseller who wants to just sell some stuff on like Mercari or something like that and make money, so they buy lots of toys. They ain't gonna know that they have a knockoff. They're gonna look up. They're gonna like, what is this thing? Oh, it looks like this Transformer. I'm gonna sell it as this Transformer. What does that Transformer go for? And, you know, if it's a bad knockoff, maybe someone will say, "Hey, dude, you're selling a knockoff." But if it's a good knockoff, someone would be like, "Hey, you know, I want that. Thinking it's official."
And then how many points removed before it gets pushed into someone's collection as vintage?
It's like, you know, maybe the first person resells it as a KO. Maybe the second person resells it as a KO. Maybe the third person trades it to someone. It doesn't really mention it's a KO. And maybe the next person sells it as a vintage. You know, it's
very simple. Very easy.
Yeah, it's because like all these MP, the fourth party MP, you know, masterpieces. I mean, I know a lot of people who's, you know, especially the ones that are notorious for breaking. I know a lot of people who've bought the KOs. I've thought about tracking down a KO for my Beast Force Megatron because mine has the
hips.
Mine has the hip issue. Like, I'll never transform him again. I barely barely move his legs around because his crotch area is cracking.
I could honestly see that. I look at my Masterpiece Hound. That Masterpiece Hound was transformed. The store I bought it from, they went ahead and transformed it for me because I was afraid to. Shipped it to me that way, and that's where it stayed on my shelf. It's never been transformed since.
And like, if I buy it, I'm supporting it. Even if I let's say I get one and my intention is to destroy it before I ever actually let it go into someone else's hands, I can't guarantee that's going to be the case. Like, you know, not to get morbid, but yeah.
The simple fact that the item is out there just means there's the possibility of contamination, for lack of a better term. contamination, because that's what it is. You are contaminating the collection.
Now, as someone who sells a lot of things, have you noticed this affect any like official prices when you're selling stuff?
I know that it got to the point where I was so worried about parts that I think I told y'all a couple episodes before, I sold all mine.
Yeah.
I got out of the parts business, and that was one of the things. That's one of the reasons. I have a few left that I know they're real, and if people need them and they trust me, then I can do that. But I don't know. I don't do that anymore because it's just gotten too hard. And I don't want to sell something and find out that it's not what I said it was. So I choose not to. You know, that's just me, a conscious decision. I'm not going to do that anymore. So,
And we're just talking
which sucks
Transformers.
because for someone, well, the problem is that, you know, for someone that's looking, that would come to me knowing that I'm only going to sell original vintage stuff and I don't do it anymore because I can't guarantee it, it kind of hurts them because they got to find somewhere else. And I'm sorry, I don't want to be responsible for that, and that's why I'm not doing it.
I mean, working at the shop, I've seen we actually had the owner had bought a lot and thought the Dinobot that was in there was actually authentic. It was a sludge, and turned out it took me and the other guy to look at it and found out it was one of those high quality reproduction KOs. It was loose, didn't have any of the weapons with it, but I mean, still, you could feel the quality of it. It wasn't as heavy as the original would be, and the fact that
Inner plastic.
yeah, it has a little thinner plastic, but him being the shop owner didn't even know. And
Well,
that does happen sometimes because if you get a full
sure.
lot of toys, like you've
But
even ran
then
your
like
problem.
your example there, he got the body. Where'd the parts go?
That's the question.
And who's getting flaked on those?
Right.
That's the stuff I don't like. The stuff that I collect, the 4-star stuff, the goofy stuff, the stuff that, you know, your grandma could go, that doesn't look like this. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. That stuff to me is okay. When it's trying to be something that it's not, that's where I have the issues.
And I don't blame
And
you.
unfortunately, it's very prevalent.
I mean,
There's
Yeah,
no
I
way
mean,
in the
like-
world I would start collecting Transformers right now. I would never start it.
Yeah, I mean, especially not like vintage stuff. I mean, if you're buying it right off the shelves, but
Well, let's say you wanted to start collecting G1 again. Vintage stuff. Not only the fact that it's outrageously priced, but then you may have paid out the nose and not even got what you thought.
yeah.
That's
Are there many like high quality Beast Wars reproductions out there?
I wouldn't put anything past anyone anymore.
Yeah.
that I'm not sure about. I know you talked about like a downscale version of Depth Charge before, but
Yeah, I've seen that one in the past and stuff like that. I just wasn't sure if there's anyone out there like trying to, because I understand, you know, the high quality G1 market. It seems, you know, it seems to be there because there's a lot of people who want to collect G1, but they don't want to spend the money on G1.
Well, you don't think the same thing's not going to happen to Beast Wars once it gets up there in time? Of course it will.
Well, yeah, and that's that's where I was curious if it had started yet, right? I haven't heard of it starting yet. I know there are knockoffs, right?
You remember when Combiner Wars Devastator? They knocked that off.
yeah.
Oh yeah, a lot of the new stuff gets knocked off real fast.
Well,
And you're like,
the thing
crazy.
the thing I saw with the Devastator though is something that Hasbro probably should have done, and the KO they have out there is actually yellow. They made a G2 version of it. It's a knockoff, but it is G2, and I'm like, Hasbro easily could have shot yellow plastic in there and did it, but they didn't. So I don't have an issue with a KO company doing that. But the parts themselves
I
were
honestly,
probably a slight different purple than the original.
yeah, I think you got hopes on the new Age of the Primes Devastator,
Mm-hmm.
seeing as they've already done Grimlock in different G2 colors and all that. I see them doing that. So I think you're actually going to get an official G2 release of Devastator. I don't see how they could not do that. They have.
That's the question: is what will
It's
come
too easy.
first? Will it be the G2 or will it be the Diaclone? Because they've really leaned toward a lot of Diaclone stuff recently. You know, how many repaints have they released that has just been straight to Diaclone color? And
Yeah, but like I said, they've also done it with the G2 colors.
I think the Diaclone stuff is easy for one-offs. I would be hard pressed to see them doing Diaclone colors for something for a set of 6, right? Because we're already. I mean, we've seen G2 colors for like the Stunticons up until a point, but like
Right.
to try to sell people, to try to sell people 6 Diaclone Constructicons. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean,
I see the
probably
G2
would sell,
color.
but
yeah,
yeah, I could see the G2.
And if they were smart, I hate to say it, but I could see them doing the yellow as mass release, and I could see them doing the orange as a store exclusive.
that's what
Yeah,
they
that's
should
true.
do. Because orange
But
was
they
lesser
should do it
known.
as a gift set. They
But
should do it as a gift set.
with that being said, I mean, going into more modern KOs, other than the Masterpiece, we had seen a lot of those Combiner Wars, like you said, get knocked off. Some of them were upscaled, but some of them were literally 1-to-1 size. And
Sure.
guns are a thing. The feet are a thing. The hand fist things. So you don't know whether those are even
What's
off.
the name of that company? Jumbo or Jum something like that.
Yeah.
They did the Combiner Boards Devastator even bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, honestly, okay. It's not presenting itself as a 1-to-1 scale. It's easy to tell that it's not official. Okay, I can live with that one. But the 1-to-1 scale that they're trying to that the potential for it to be passed off as original, that's where I have the problems.
Yeah, and
You
I
know.
agree 100% on that. I
Well,
hate
even
to
with
see it.
upsizing, I mean, I see very often people new to the franchise, or especially, or even people returning and deciding to collect, are usually pretty damn naive. Like, let's be honest. I can't tell you how many times when I was, many years old, when MP1 came out, and there's some service guy came into the house or something. It's like, oh, I used to have that as a kid. And I'm like, you definitely didn't have Masterpiece Optimus Prime as a kid. You had something very different.
Looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and,
reminiscent.
so though even the upscaled ones, if they look close enough, then they're just doing
There's potential.
Google searches. There's a potential for the more naive in the fandom to get duped, but
I mean,
at least
duping
yeah.
collectors is nothing new.
Yeah, no.
I mean, Jason, I guarantee your shop owner knows this. Vintage 77s Star Wars accessories.
Yep.
They didn't knock those off in the 70s. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
They have, oh, good grief. Some of the KOs I've seen of a lot of those, the strangest things I've ever seen. I've looked up really weird KOs from that time period. Blows my mind. And
No,
the
I'm
accessories
talking
sometimes
about
are
like
identical.
accessories. Oh,
Yeah.
a Imperial Palace blaster. Okay, gray. $40-$50.
Mhm.
Black, a black Imperial blaster, Palace blaster, $125 to $175. And you don't think they don't knock those off? Oh, and you don't think they've been knocking them off for years? Oh yeah.
And,
The problems that Star Wars fans are having, I see. That's what's going to happen to Transformers,
I mean, it's already happening. It's been happening.
and it's going to be worse.
Yeah. Especially with the 3D printing, people be able to just do this stuff, and even in their garage, you know, like even reproduction. Like, how many times have we seen? I think you can go on eBay and buy reproduction inserts for the original Generation 1 boxes to be able to put the toy back in the box authentically. And I'm talking reproduction backing and the plastic bubble that goes over the toy.
Oh my gosh, what was that guy's name?
I can't remember.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
But he would make them so that you could tell the difference. Okay, that person did. Like,
I think he
if
stamped
the
them back in the corner somewhere in them, so that way
well,
you couldn't
like
see
the
it.
backers were a gray, and he would put them in white. Or if they were white, he would put them in off-white. None of the bubbles, there was no stempling, stuff like that, like the vintage had. So you knew. But if you wanted to display it in the box, it looked good.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the guy's name, but he did it for years. And it's fine. But like I said, when you're taking a whole toy and trying to make it as close as possible for the sole purpose of selling it as a vintage toy, there's the issues. There's the problems. Because it could be perfect 1-to-1, but it's not vintage. It's not official. And if I'm buying something because I'm buying it because it is official, because it is vintage, then you're ripping me off. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care how good the quality is. It's not what you're saying it is. Anytime you misrepresent an item, that's an issue. And they're making it too easy. Way too easy.
I mean, even with like Masters of the Universe, them doing the whole retro play style that they have, where they basically took the original toys and give them more articulation, but they still get the authentic weapons. That's
Here's something that blows my mind. Here's something that blows my mind. And I can't prove it, but hear me out. Okay? I'm in a lot of interest groups, like for Star Wars and this, that, and the other. And it's like every time I turn around, someone's saying, garage sale, fine. And they find a bunch of figures. And even before I open the pictures, I say, I bet there's a blue snaggletooth in there. And wow, there it is. I mean, I see tons and tons and tons of them. And then I found out there's a company that makes them. They're stamped on the back of the leg different, but other than that, they look just like it. So now I'm like, well, maybe there are just that. Well, guess what? In the Masters of the Universe, that just all of a sudden I see a lot more than I ever did. Wonder Brand He-Man.
Yeah.
Or Savage He-Man, however you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
I've owned 2 of those. In my 20 plus years of buying collections and everything, I've had 2 of them. All of a sudden I see a lot of them. And I'm like, this seems odd.
Yeah.
I thought this thing was supposed to be rare. Am I saying that there's some knockoffs out there? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Can I prove it? No.
I mean, even during the 80s, we got KOs of He-Man figures all the time. Like, they were always like a Mexican KO, or Imperial did like some animals for the He-Man figures to fit on that everybody thought were knockoffs, but they're not really knockoffs. They're kind of their own thing. Like we were talking about reimagining of things. But the problem is, if you look at like the saddles and all the stuff like that, they look like He-Man saddles. They look authentic. And
Oh, you
the
want to know
parts
something
is
funny?
what throws everybody sideways on
Sure.
this stuff.
Here's the funny thing. If you ever want to figure out if you have a Mexican He-Man as opposed to a U.S. or whatever, pull the legs a little bit. There's a rubber band in there.
Uh-huh.
And the ones from Mexico are white. They're supposed to be black.
Oh yeah, it's the dumbbell thing.
Right.
Yeah. The dumbbell.
For some reason down there they were white. So there's a good bit of information if you ever find one. And you have just this common He-Man figure, but you pull it out and it's got a little white. Chances are you've got the Mexican version, which is probably worth a little bit more. Just the opposite.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with G.I. Joe. I know the shop has a couple carded, and one is Duke and one is Cobra Commander, but they're on Chinese backing.
The Chinese backers.
Yeah, they're Chinese
which
backers.
Which is different than the Kara backers.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
I don't
Fun
know,
School.
but I think there's some different. Some Fun School's totally different.
Yeah, but some of them are identical. So even like the weapons, so it's hard to tell the differences
Yeah, I
on
mean-
some of that stuff. Like that's
It's
how
a rabbit hole,
crazy
man.
this whole rabbit hole is nuts. And the reason we're doing this whole cast of this one this week is just to make you guys aware there are so many variants of things out there. There are books out there that will actually tell you differences, but some of the books may be a little bit outdated. So go
Totally.
online and look, especially if you have Devastator. Seriously, go online and look. They have, I think, 3 or 4 different variants of just G2 Devastator, let alone what the 6 to 7 different variants they have of the green one, correct?
Let's put you this way. I think I'm fairly knowledgeable. I think that I've been doing this long enough that I'm pretty good at it. But I wouldn't trust myself 100%. I would always go and do as much research as I could, because there's always someone that knows more than I do or has seen something I haven't. So I guess the big thing I wanted for anyone to take away from this episode is that just always do your homework. Get out there. There's information out there. Find as much as you can before you make any purchase. If you know, if you're being told something's legit, make sure it's legit. I guess is what I'm saying. Do everything you can, because the stuff that's out there, we don't even know about. There's just so much.
Well, that's the thing. Like, there's times, like, something, just, this is still on the same topic. I didn't even know they made an underscale version of these Brave figures. And these things literally do everything the originals do. This guy actually does fires missiles. And I didn't even know this was a thing. Now, I love underscale stuff. That's a whole side thing. But the fact that you can take photos of this and put this on eBay, and some people will probably think it's the originals, unless they saw the size. And that's another thing. A lot of people, when they take photos, they don't actually put anything next to scale. If you put a battery next to this, you'll be like, okay, it's an undersized one. If you just took a photo of this on a white background, nobody would know the size of it. And then somebody would give hundreds of dollars for something and be like, well, that's a knockoff. Why did it go for this much money? You know?
Yeah.
And
But don't think that people won't do that to try and get you to buy it.
oh yeah.
And don't think, oh, eBay won't let that happen because we just proved to you they don't care. So it's up to you. You're on your own. Do the homework. Figure it out.
Do the homework. Figure it out. If you're really needing to be 100% authentic. If you're a person kind of like myself, because there have been a lot of times I'm like, you know what, that's fine if I get a KO. I'm never going to resell it as authentic anyway, which I have sold a lot of my G1 stuff back in the past, and some of the stuff was KOs. And I did tell people, and some of those KOs, Brett and I even went over this, some of those are even actually worth more than the authentic ones, which is a little nuts. But every now and then it does happen.
How many they had, how many they made.
Yeah, I mean, you could make money on knockoffs too, but just be aware of that. Spread this information. Tell them, like, look, Go on the forums and look. There's tons of people out there that's got pictures of the authentic stamping just on, say, this is, like I said, this is a KO. There's no stamping on the bottom of him. He would actually have stamping on the bottom if it was. This is a long haul. But if I took a photo of this just like this and threw it on eBay, not even showing the stickers, some people are like, oh, that's an authentic Generation 2. Some people don't not know that. I've had people ask me, is that a G2? No, it's a knockoff, and G2 doesn't have black, it's got purple. Some people don't even know the small basics. So educate yourself before you drop the money on any of these toys. Especially like, okay, say I want an original from back then, like a metal trailer Optimus Prime. You're going to have to do some research to find out where you're actually going to get a metal trailer one or the non-metal trailer one, because they even left the slots in the trailer. You can't even really tell when it's still in package. It's usually the weight that you'll be able to tell. If you're buying it off the internet, that's how would you approach that one, right? Like, how would you get a metal trailer versus the other one without actually having your hands on it,
I wouldn't. I wouldn't buy it. It's as simple as that. And then, unless, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have gotten those, 10, 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, Sunday, Monday morning, eBay. Oh my God, this thing's just sitting in a pile and it's worth X amount of dollars and they want pennies. And I've jumped on it and I bought it. And I got something really rare, cheap. But the dude that's got the mint and box metal side trailer bloated prime for $150 is gonna be ripping you off. If it's too good to be true, it's just that.
Because I mean, that's the thing. That's the big thing. Make sure you do the research. Sometimes you have to look at the packaging. Sometimes the packaging itself didn't just say Hasbro, it said Milton Bradley on it. That's a huge, like, you can tell. And even on the back, like a big thing I've looked at, especially with like reissues, not just knockoffs, but reissues, look at the Hasbro logo. If the Hasbro logo looks way too modern, it's a reissue. If it's
This
more
is
authentic,
hilarious.
it's funny because it's like you've got that, and look for websites on the packaging. If you see a website, you know it's not from the 80s. That's the thing. I don't think a lot of people tend to stop and actually look at the fine print. This is where you read the fine print.
Well, this is funny. This is one of the groups I'm in. And there's this lot. And it says Transformers for sale. And I'm not going to name the person. Not going to do any of this. But this is the description. It says prices are in the picture. All figures come with original boxes. Okay? And the first thing they show is a box G1 Prime. Okay. $100. Pretty cheap. Right next to it, there is a box G1 Prime, only it's solid black. $90. Oh, wait a minute, there's one below it. Here is a G1 Prime in the box, but it is clear plastic. $90. Guess what? All that stuff's fake.
3 KOs in a row.
It's all fake. But if you read his description, he didn't lie. He said all figures come with original boxes, not vintage. So someone would see this and go, "Oh my gosh, I'm going to get my vintage Prime for $100." No, you're getting a Chinese knockoff made probably earlier this year, and that's what you're buying.
Now my question is,
Wow, I didn't even know it came in those colors.
I know.
the question
Right?
is with the black one, does it have a Decepticon black like thing going,
Oh, no.
swoosh and all that?
Oh, it's worse. It's worse. There's two of them in here. I'm looking at them right now. One of them has the original sticker, which has the blue stripe with the red Autobot logo.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another black one that has a what would be considered a ghost, which is black stripes with a black Autobot symbol.
Mm.
Which was never ever in G1 at all.
I don't even think there
But-
was an e-hobby reissue of that or anything, was there?
There was an e-hobby reissue of a G1 Prime. Yes, I have it.
No, I'm talking about black.
Black, yes.
But
Yeah,
it had
it
a
was
Decepticon
Japan.
emblem, I thought, because I thought that was the first time. No, it was a Nemesis one, right?
No. This was basically they just took when they reissued the G1 Prime for the commemorative series in Japan. They did a JapCon exclusive, which was an all black Prime. And I'm going to look and see what the sticker was because I can't remember. And the sticker is just a regular G1 sticker. I just looked at mine, but it's official.
Okay. Because I thought
It's about $253.
Because I thought they had released one that had a Decepticon one, but it was supposed to be like a Nemesis Prime of some sort, like an e-hobby.
Not
thing.
officially that I know of.
Okay. Maybe that must have been a KO then. But that's the problem with G1
Sounds like-
Prime. He's just like Devastator. He's been reissued and knocked off to death.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I would say that's the biggest takeaway from this whole thing is just educate yourself. Don't feel ignorant when you're like, oh, I don't know if that's an authentic G1 Bumblebee. I don't know if it's a reissue. That's the thing. Usually you can look at the tires and tell, but not all the time. Like, especially if you find it in a bin at a thrift store. You know, that happens all the time. There's times I go in the thrift stores and I found bags of G1 Transformers. They may not be all complete, but
Well, things have changed.
yeah.
All right. I remember many years ago, and it was actually one of the biggest deals I ever did. I was down in Florida. I was on vacation, and just got done with the beach and everything. So I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling. And back then you scrolled Craigslist. Yes, Craigslist. And I saw a G1 a G1 Fortress Maximus in the box, $50. Now, they never made a knockoff of that. There wasn't reissues, none of that stuff back then. And I'm like, oh my God. Bought it. Had my buddy immediately go down there. It was in Frankfurt, so it was like an hour and a half drive. Go down there, and he bought it. And the first thing he did, got anything else. We wound up getting 4 trucks of stuff. He-Man. Everything from this guy. So the deals are there. Okay? So don't get me wrong. They're out there. But because of all this garbage out here now, the likelihood of getting scammed is so much more. Unless you know what you're looking for. You gotta know what you're looking for.
This is
You
extremely
know, what's
true.
the tail side? What are the stampings? What's the condition? What's it look like? How does it feel? Hey, I'll give you a nice, neat thing about comic books. What's one of the best things you can do about comic books when you get one to make sure it's real?
Count the
Smell
pages. They also count
Smell it.
pages too to make sure they're complete.
Right, make sure it's complete, but you smell it.
Mhm.
It's gonna smell like an old comic.
Mhm.
That's what happens to toys. Smell like old toys.
Get an old book and you go, stinky.
Yeah. Speaking
Fresh,
of which,
scented goodness.
man, me and my other half decided to go to Bath and Body Works the other day, and I got this vintage smell. It smells like a record store. I love this stuff. Makes my room smell great. I love this. But yeah,
I applaud you for braving the Bath and Body Works.
Hey, I'll be honest with you. I go there for room sprays. I get some cologne stuff every now and then, but not that often. But she loves it.
Sounds
so,
to me like you got too much flatulence.
Oh man, my allergies do not like strong scents. Walking into those stores to me is just like getting punched in the face.
I'll pass.
Yeah. But I mean, come on, like it's kind of like when we were, I don't know, Brett will probably remember this. When you walked into model shops and you had that certain smell in the air.
Oh,
muffler
glue.
Yeah.
Dust?
No, that's just dust. But like, yeah, it's kind of just it's a weird waft.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
That's the thing, like he's talking about, like the smell of some of these older toys. And the other thing is, if you find
smells
something,
like desperation.
Yeah. You want to know what smells like desperation? Whenever you find an open toy that's supposed to be from the 80s and it has no chrome wire, that should be 100% red flag. If it's an open toy. Because 90% of the time, that's not going to have some kind of non-wire at all.
Yeah.
That's very,
there
very,
are
very rare.
Yeah, there are the like diamonds in the rough, but they're
here's
abnormal.
Something funny. Here's something funny. When Pretenders came out, they sold okay, and so they came out with Junior Pretenders. And if you remember Junior Pretenders, they were a little smaller and they were on backers. Well, the stores were complaining because the bubbles were popping off. So, brand new in the store, guess what they did? They stapled them. So, if you see one with a staple, doesn't mean it's been opened. It may have been right from the case. They stapled it and put it right on the shelf.
So you're telling me they had the same problems that we have now that they had back then?
Oh, quality? You don't think Hasbro and Kenner and everything were trying to save up?
Because I was like, when they did the reissue Beast Wars, I was like, you think that we had gotten better at packaging?
No.
Those packages were awful.
Here's a really good one
were
for
thinner, the bubbles were thinner.
I am convinced that line. I'm convinced that line failed mostly because of the packaging, but also the toys were awful. Like almost all of them had problems.
Here's a toy that was.
Everyone should go and buy that Scorponok. Okay, go buy the Scorpion.
But there's one toy I know that Brett's very familiar with. The 12-inch, the larger version of Boba Fett back in the day. That and the Stormtroopers. A lot of people think, oh, well, somebody had to glue the fists back on. That was done almost at store level and even at the factory because the fists wouldn't stay on.
Factory.
Yeah.
Guess what they used?
Hot glue.
Hot glue.
So some people are like, oh, well, it's not authentic. It's been opened. Look at his hands. No, that's what they had to do to fix it.
That's vintage. That's vintage hot glue.
There's your quality control, guys.
Heck yeah.
Kind of like in Europe, they had to strip all the lead paint off, so you have Optimus Prime that's got red feet. And several other ones that had that happen too, as well. I can't remember what other ones, but I know Optimus is like the notorious one with the red feet. Everybody's like, is that a knockoff or is somebody switch parts? No. That's what they had to do back then to make it legal. So it's not a knockoff. But beware, because some people out there will repaint Optimus Prime feet to try to push that off on you too. You can tell whether it's authentic or not because they had to strip the paint completely off. If it's not completely stripped,
they globbed it on there too. It was almost as bad as the Mexican Prime with the blue eyes, or blue with the red eyes, that looked like someone took a Sharpie and just stuck him in the eyeballs. But that's how it was. That's real. And you're like, there's no way the quality. Nah, there was no quality control. They just sent it out.
Yeah. Official quality definitely doesn't surprise me sometimes.
Nah.
So just keep
Nope,
that
nope.
in mind.
There was
too.
like a little while there where like classics figures were coming out where the molding for the head was like off, and so like the whole like one half of the head was completely shifted up from the other half of the head, and finding one with a good head was almost impossible.
It's fine. Send it out.
Well, I mean, it's like G2. Generation 2 had, what was it, 2 huge issues I remember. Grimlock shot in a different color of blue than he should have been. That's why you have the turquoise colored. And then you had Sea Spray that was done in 3 different shades of blue because they couldn't get the combination correct for the back metal.
You talking about G2 Sea Spray?
What's that?
The G2 Sea Spray?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was blue, there was purple, and there was pink.
Yep. And that was because
And
they couldn't get the color hue right.
Right, and
they
that
just
went all the way
shipped
through
them out.
Transmetal, all the G2s. There is a really, really rare green beachcomber with gray headlights and parts and everything.
Yeah, I shared
And
that on my
those-
Facebook thing a while back. There were a lot of people
Yeah,
thinking, is there parts swap there? I think that was like
No,
a exclusive or something, wasn't
It
it?
was for employees. It was an employee promo. Pretty rare.
That's probably one of the rarest I've ever seen. Probably G2 wise, that would probably be one of the most rarest.
I could see that I have not seen one in person yet.
Same.
With all the goofy stuff I found, that I have not.
Hey, we both find goofy stuff all the time though, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But well, you guys have any final thoughts before we bounce out of here? Because we're a little over what we were going to be today. But that's
Yeah, we're getting over on the time. Like I said, I think the main thing on this is just be aware that these knockoffs are out there. And I don't care if you want to collect knockoffs. I don't care if you're totally against knockoffs. That's not what I care about. What I care about is if you're buying something, getting what you think you're supposed to be getting what you want. If you want to pay the price of a knockoff, get a knockoff. If you want to pay the price of a vintage, make sure you get the vintage and not something less.
It's very true. You got anything to say about this, Saber?
No, but I wouldn't mind some high quality knockoffs of GPS Beast Wars figures.
If anybody wants to do any knockoffs of any high quality stuff, please do the gold plastic stuff. We're tired of seeing it crumble. It needs some kind
Yeah,
of
you can at least be like a little bit of a hero in your villainy.
Well, from what I heard, this is kind of a thing on the GBS side. Earlier, where I showed that Scorponok, apparently that company's supposed to be trying to do a Black Serac as well. So I don't know.
Yeah,
To be honest,
that would be neat.
it would be neat. But don't label it as G1. Don't copy that stamping. Leave the stamping off, for God's sake. So that way people know.
Well,
it's not a thing.
at least in that case, you should know that if you get one that doesn't immediately turn to dust in your hands, you've got a fake one.
Exactly. The more you know.
Very true.
All right. Well, we're going to bounce out of here tonight. Thank you guys for watching. We'll have another crazy topic next week. If you guys have any suggestions, please put them down in the comments and let us know if there's anything else you guys want us to talk about, because we're always kicking the can on that. But anyway, I'm going to have them say goodnight and we'll get out of here.
Good night, everybody.
Yep.